Haere mai from my heart place to your heart place, Kareena, to the Heart Place Hospital podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So welcome to the Heart Place Hospital podcast, and today we're very honoured to have to introduce Kareena, a space holder and truth bringer, whose life is a dance of sacred movement, rhythm and deep soul connection. So you've got 25 years of captivating audiences as a professional dancer and choreographer on stages worldwide. And Kareena now guides others through ecstatic dance, sacred shaking, and quantum healing. You're a yoga teacher, quantum practitioner, shaking medicine facilitator and trainer, DJ and performing artist, holding space for transformation through embodied movement and unity. So in this episode, we explore embodiment, such an important part of our healing journey, and how movement supports our nervous system, especially for those raised in survival mode, as you have grown up in South Africa, which we look forward to diving into. We'll also dive into the power of sacred shaking and what it means to return to your sacred and soulful self, or as you call it, bringing it back, the Sass. And whatever else comes up. Whatever else comes up. And so join us as we shake, move, and realign with our divine essence. Welcome, Kareena.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. From my heart to yours, it's an honor to be here.
Yay, we did it. We did it.
Yeah.
And it was really important for me to have you on so that people can see all the different types of ways and elements that we can actually be our own self-healer. So I would love for you to share a little bit, sort of speed dating, about your South African upbringing and to now your journey with Sass.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, growing up in South Africa, you were bang on survival mode. And I didn't know any different. So, I grew up with a very flight or fight nervous system, continuously dysregulated, would find regulation by numbing out, by drugs, alcohol, partying, because that made me feel better. And I didn't understand all of this until years later when I started realizing, okay, my dance career, when I was dancing and moving my body, I felt great. But then when that adrenaline wore off, I started to go back into that survival mode and just feel like, well, what's it all for? And I don't want to be with this feeling. And then it would start all over again, the vicious cycles. And then I found yoga and I realized, whoa, there's something in this. I feel amazing. And I turned to the yoga for the healing benefits throughout my dance career.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it's actually partly because of some of the yoga that I didn't completely go off the rails with drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a revelation. And fast forward to 10 years ago, my soul guided me. I had an opportunity to leave South Africa. I immigrated to New Zealand. And for the past 10 years, I've been going deeper into yoga. And then the yoga led me to this modality called shaking, which it has been around, but came across my field only in the last few years. And that really opened me up to nervous system hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get up every day, we're taught to brush our teeth, shower, take care of the physical outward hygiene. But what about the inner hygiene? What about the nervous system, the energy body? And so I was taking care of the energy body with the yoga, and of course the nervous system's part of that. But then I just went deeper and deeper into my own practices. And that's where Sass was born, because Sass is this journey of embodiment, trusting yourself from within. And for me, a big part of that was really connecting to my divine masculine, because I'm very much in my feminine. So there's the balance of the masculine and feminine in this journey, but it's mostly your own journey inwards to your sacred and soulful self. And we get a bit sassy along the way.
I love that. I love that. And so I'm always curious, like all these stories that we share on the podcast, generally the pained purpose and it's people's healing journey, and then they're kind of like, hey, I want to share this with other people because I wish I'd known this earlier. So that tends to be the sort of recurrent stories that we're sharing. And I'm just wondering if you could share what that journey's been like, kind of like the highs and the lows, because I know like a lot of our listeners are either A, seeking for modalities for support, or B, they're wanting to go into service but not sure how. So I just wondered if you could share the kind of the silver linings from the lead linings, or the highs and the lows from this journey that you've taken to Sass.
Yeah, so what I can say is that I believe it's that your soul guides you into these seemingly challenging situations. Like for me, my soul chose to explore what it means to be in survival.
Mm,
And I feel that we choose these challenges so that we can grow and learn and get catapulted or bumped onto the trajectory of the opposite, of the light side of that learning. So I feel it's intentional from the universe, because we all have similar threads, and the universe is saying, hey, you need to experience this to be able to know it deeply, to be able
mm,
to then share it with
mm,
others. So the best way to get onto a pathway of sharing is to have experienced it yourself, because
mm,
then you're talking from a real embodied
mm,
experience.
mm,
So yeah, some of the highs and lows. I mean, there's been times where I was taking sleeping tablets for a month because I didn't want to face the day. It was
mm,
too much for me to even get out of bed. It was too
mm,
much for me to face my life.
mm,
And that was a real low.
mm,
And I remember waking up one day and thinking, is this really what I'm choosing?
mm,
And I decided to choose differently.
mm,
But what spiraled me into that was one of the most, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's the one event in my life that really opened up the pathways for me to be able to sit here and be a divine service being, to be able to share what I've learned. And that
mm,
was when there was a home invasion and I was attacked in my own home
mm,
with my husband. And it was kind of like we were caught unaware. It was an intruder,
mm,
and he had the upper hand, and he had us for an hour and 10 minutes tied up, stripped us naked so that we felt really vulnerable and powerless.
mm,
And, just in that moment, all I had was my connection to Source. All I had was to pray and to connect and say, if this is my time, yes, I surrender. But if I'm meant to learn from this and share something with the world, then I know I'll be saved. And I mean, I can articulate it now, but in the time it was so deep and so
mm,
felt, and just the fear that I had was immense. And I vowed to myself that I never wanted to feel that scared ever in my life again. And so I've been working a lot with the frequency of fear. And I
mhm,
can relate when people are really co creating with fear. And it's taken me, with conscious awareness, the last about 6 years to really alleviate and watch that fear leaving my field and dissipating. That's how deeply rooted it was.
mm,
And so that's one of the very lows that has turned into something really high, because through that I'm able to share and hold space and guide us through movement practices, through safely connecting to our bodies, and then allowing the nervous system to release what it needs to release. And we work with fear, we work with rejection, abandonment, those lower densities.
yeah.
Yeah, so the very lows have led to the very highs, because I get to honestly hold space and do what I love and share this with humanity.
Mm. And how does that look? How do you offer all that?
Yeah, so how I offer all that is I love facilitating group sessions. I love being in transformational spaces.
Mm,
So retreats, workshops, festivals, those kind of places is where you'll find me.
yeah.
And yeah, if people want to, you know, if want to collaborate and have me as part of their event, I love that
Hmm.
because co-creative energy is always so much more powerful.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm up for co-creations and I create a lot of my own retreats and events where we can spend a day together, spend a weekend together where we will shake. We will literally take movement classes. We will go through meditations and activations. We get a bit quantum there. So I work with quantum energy, which is really tapping into your subconscious mind and
Hmm.
bringing forth what your soul wants you to know. And so, through movement, through stillness, through meditations, through activations, I'm also online. My signature program is Sass, Sacred and Soulful Self. And my next online program for this is going to be end of September, beginning of October. So
Hmm.
that later on in this year. But the lead up to that, there'll be lots of online awareness around it. And so I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook and yeah, just always happy to serve in whatever way is necessary
Hmm.
in terms of body ascension. You know, we're taking this physical body with us. We're not just working with the upper three energy centers and leaving our body. We're actually bringing it down into the lower three centers and having this experience on this earth. But what are you choosing? You can choose to stay in the stories that have guided you thus far, or
Hmm.
you can choose to do something different. So it's all up to us at the end of the day.
And I mean, I've experienced shaking yoga with you, and I've experienced collaborations with you, and they're fun, and I think that's something that I really want to emphasize when it comes to health and well-being, but choosing, what we call like a healing round table, a multidimensional support. So actually offering this to people who this is quite possibly foreign or outside their scope of knowing, um, is that play is just so much important. Play and joy and love is essentially why we are here on earth co-creating, and it's those experiences that, like your one that you shared, that we alchemize into that, so that we can show others, hey, actually there's nothing wrong, bad and broken.
Mm,
And this is, we've got a lot of unlearning to do, because we go to a school system, most of us go to a school system for 13 years, that emphasize that it's got to be right, it's got to be a certain way. So I think it's really important we've got people like ourselves, the conduits, the lighthouses, that can give some examples of,
mm.
and start normalizing it. Actually, you don't necessarily need a pill.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is actually another way, and it's people like yourselves who have such a plethora of offerings, so that's why I was curious to see see how you describe what you offer, um, and can hold space and go, hey, me too. I've had some, what you and I call crunchy times,
Yeah.
and some of them, catastrophic times.
Mm.
And I've managed to shake my way out of it.
That's
So yeah, yeah,
exactly. I love that because this is the thing, right? We're born to shake. Every
mm,
single person has a healing mechanism called your tremor.
mm,
And we're born and designed to shake. And I
mm,
was never taught that until a
mm,
few years ago, which means we've been suppressing our natural way of being. Why is that? We have to
mm,
ask ourselves. Why is something so natural and functional not being taught?
mm.
Because then we hold the power to heal ourselves.
Yeah. exactly. And I often talk about, Heart Place Hospital is about more to da, less taboo, and not seen examples of, I mean, look at our animals. We're part of the animal kingdom. They shake it out.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And that's why I want to encourage everyone or anyone listening to this that you have the ability. Don't put that story on yourself. I'm
Mm,
too this, I'm not that, I'm not. Everybody has the capability of shaking.
mm,
And it might take one or two or three sessions to get you on track.
mm,
And this is something that you can take home and do whenever, because the body, like you said, with the animal kingdom, they
mm,
shake whenever they need to.
mm,
It's as natural as for us, our outer hygiene. They take care of their nervous systems, animals do. So after a chase or they've been hunted or something where they've had a huge dump of adrenaline, cortisol, and those hormones that they no longer need because they're not running anywhere, they
mm,
shake it off. Now, if you think about us as humans who aren't shaking it off, some of us aren't, we don't have access to tools and modalities. So we're actually not doing anything to release in that way. That
mm,
means you're suppressing, you're suppressing, you're suppressing. Where is the outlet? Where does that lead? I believe it leads to dis-ease, to
mm,
illness,
mm,
sickness, not feeling who you are. Like that sense of depression is just because you are just not allowing your light to come through. You haven't had
mm,
the channels and the ways for your functions, your systems to all speak coherently.
mm,
And it's one shake can reverse all of that.
mm.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, and I can confer, like I've done it, and just sleep so much better, and yeah, and the same with the ecstatic dance that you offer. Same thing. Every time I ecstatic dance, I sleep so well that night.
Yeah,
And
dance.
everyone knows 101 is sleep. Getting that quality sleep. So whatever it
Yeah,
takes. Yeah.
I love that so much because number one is oxygen. We can't live without
Mm.
oxygen. Number two is water. We can't live without good water. Look at us go. And number three is sleep. So,
Mm,
yeah, we need to sleep. And so, dance, coming through my 25 years as a professional dancer, I understand the body, I understand the connection of movement to what it makes available for us. And
mm,
so, to just intuitively dance is to take yourself on a journey with yourself, and you're going inwards, and whatever needs to be released will come through, and you can dance it off. Your body might even guide you into a shake, and you can shake it off. And this shake that I'm talking about is not a literal a voluntary shake. It's a spontaneous involuntary shake which happens from within. And it's beautiful because it creates space, it's liberating. You can access your joy, you can access gratitude, kindness, better sleep. You in harmony. It's
mm.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's why I say you'll find me at festivals because I love it. It's like one big harmonic wave where we're
Yeah.
all shaking and just living naturally with nature.
Mm, absolutely. And that's what that was where I was leading to next was I love sharing practitioners like yourself because it's never just shaking, like you've said, there's water, there's the whole multidimensional aspect to the support. It's because you just get so kind of curious and hooked. Like what else was taboo? What else didn't I get shared? And so we put ourselves into spaces and places where we can start accessing other information, and if it lands for us, then it becomes part of our kite and offerings to share with others, and you're a pure example of that for sure.
Oh, thank you. That's because I believe in frequency. Nikola Tesla said, a scientist from many years ago, decades ago. He said, the secrets to the universe is that everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. And it's
Hmm.
not a secret anymore. We've caught up
Yeah,
and we
the
know
future
it's
is here.
true.
Yeah.
We are energy, we are frequency, we are vibration. And what's really in my field now is frequency infused products,
Mhm.
frequency infused jewelry, frequency infused water. Because if we can help our bodies, our physical bodies, our energy bodies hold the frequency we desire to be on by be discerning with what we put into the body, then we're on a winning streak.
Mm.
So yeah, it's not a secret. We've caught up,
Yeah,
and we get to choose. We literally get to choose the frequency our body vibrates at.
yeah.
And that's not to take away from any experiences, because what I mean by that is that our frequency is we're constantly receiving information. Your nervous system is constantly dipping in and out of different frequencies as it receives information.
Mm.
And then it's what you choose to stabilize on. And this takes work. So I'm not taking away from anybody who's going through a process, who's feeling like they're in a lower frequency. That's there for the blessing. It's there to show you what it feels like there and what needs to shift for
Mm.
you to make another choice. So
Mm.
it's always a choice. It's always listening to the body.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep wanting to share these stories so that people can, it's a little bit like the yellow pages, they can actually get the opportunity to see and hear these conversations, because it is a choice, but we also need a community. We need to be able to be a- access this
Yeah,
information. Yeah. It is,
exactly.
yeah, and it isn't a secret anymore. The future has caught up. We are in the future now, and we're not before our time anymore.
Yeah.
It's here.
We're not
You know,
those crazy ones with out there ideas. We're actually grounding them
yeah,
in.
that's
Yeah,
right.
more than
And
ever.
and no longer are we fearful of being burnt at the stake or being drowned as our
That's
sisters
it.
in the past did. And that's because of collaboration. It's because of co-creating, I believe. And the beautiful thing is, and this is Heart Place, this is with your work too, and as we build this library of podcasts and practitioners, and as they join the Heart Place Hospital umbrella, is that there is this beautiful ability of everybody accessing it. So it's not accessible for those for the elite, for the haves.
Yeah.
It's accessible for the have-nots as well, and that's now that we're balancing that yin and that yang, that masculine, the feminine. So our beautiful feminine energy that comes in, all that creativity and downloads and compassion, and then we can also bring in the structures and this in the opportunities, and that's what I believe Heart Place Hospital is balancing out the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, and stepping away from that patriarchal capitalistic community, and stepping into that co-creation and community and collaboration and care. And I mean, I see it every day, as would you. And I know you and I are co-creating with water and with frequency, which is really exciting. We'll be quite the team.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we're bringing
yeah,
our bodies along with the movement, and we're deeply heart-centered. Like you said, Heart Place
mm,
Hospital. It's
yeah,
like we care. We deeply care. We have compassion. And, those are qualities that have been overlooked, which have led to, like you said, the older ways of burnout and must keep going. And we can absolutely have it all without having to be at the detriment of ourselves.
yeah,
And this is what I love about you having a library of practitioners that are accessible, because it is for everyone.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It so is. Yeah.
And
Oh,
like you said, if we can have fun along the way,
mm,
let's do it. We have so many beautiful endorphins that get released when we just move. And when we move as a collective, it's powerful. The consciousness that we can connect to and the change that we create just by one breath at a time, one group session at a time is profound. We're doing our bit, you know? And it's time for the arts to shine. And whether it's the healing arts or your physical, creative art, you know, this is the time, because that's also part of the unleashing, not suppressing anymore, being true to who you are. And that builds even more trust and confidence with your own physical vessel and listening to the guidance from within.
Yeah, beautiful. Go within and you never go without.
There we go. I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
Oh,
that.
well, thank you so much, Kareena. I would love for you to share with our listeners something that's coming up in your heart place. So it can be something that you're offering or something that's just feeling really cool to share. And yeah, if you could tell everyone where to find you, and we'll put it into the show notes as well.
Thank you. So, what's truly on my heart right now is that I really want to reach many people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love travel, and I'm planning to travel in May, June, July, August this year to Europe. And so I would like to co-create with as many people in Europe as possible. So if you're watching this and you want facilitators, DJs, myself and my DJ teacher, who is quite a well-known DJ and one of our friends, DJ Kimber Jade, we're traveling together and we've created a modality called Wild Freedom. And that is where DJing, ecstatic dance, sacred shaking, quantum activations come together to unleash and rewild yourself and to feel that space and liberation. So I want to reach many people. We have a few things anchored in across Europe. I'd love to do this across New Zealand as well. So please get in touch. It's really on my heart. We want to visit your town. We want to come and have some fun, get people moving. And Jackie will be there, Heart Place Hospital, caring, bringing us all together.
Yeah.
So if this sounds like something that is like, you know, vibing, then do let us know, because that's when I can show up and be me and hold space for many, my heart expands beyond. That lights
Beautiful.
me up.
Beautiful. Oh, well, thank you so much, Kareena. I look forward to sharing this in our library and you being part of our community and under our umbrella. It's
Thank you so much.
yeah, really exciting. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.